day everyone, this is Marin Maturan and Jennifer Arcana, and today we're going to tackle about the Tiboli tribe in the Philippines. So the Tiboli, also known as Tagabili, are an indigenous people living in the southern part of Mindanao, particularly in the municipalities of Tiboli, Surala, Lake Cebu, and Polomolok in the province of South Cotabato, and in Maasim, Kiamba, and Maitom in Sarangani. They can also be found in the neighboring provinces of Sultan Kudarat, North Cotabato, and Davao del Sur. There are four major lakes which are important to the Tiboli: Cebu, the largest and the most culturally significant; Siluton, the deepest; the Lahit, the smallest; and Holon, a crater lake of Mount Milibingoy in the municipality of Tiboli. The name Tiboli is a combination of Tao, meaning people, and Bilil, or hill or slope, thus meaning people living in the hills. However, not all Tiboli live upland. Those inhabiting the shores of the Celebes Sea in the municipalities of Maitom, Kiamba, and Maasim are called the Tiboli Mohen. Those in the municipalities of Lake Cebu and Tiboli are the Tiboli Cebu, and those on the western mountains near the Manobo are the Taoblay. In 1988, the Tiboli population was estimated at 227,000. By 2007, it had grown at almost double, 445,125. The Tiboli language, along with Tiruray or Tiduray, Blaan, and Ubo, belongs to the Bilic subgroup of Malay Polynesian division of the Philippine languages. These four languages are of a different language family from that of Manobo group in Mindanao. History of the Tiboli tribe. The Tiboli, possibly of Austronesian origin, were initially agricultural and coastal dwellers, later pushed to the uplands due to the arrival of other groups. They resisted Islamization starting in the 14th century, leading to their retreat to the mountains. Conflict and slaving raids by Maguindanaon Muslims continued, yet trading also existed. Spanish and later Japanese occupation had minimal impact on Tiboli compared to the influence of American rule and subsequent Christian migration. Large-scale Christian migration from 1930s onwards led to significant encroachment on Tiboli lands, with the government failing to protect their land rights. The creation of new municipalities further marginalized the Tiboli, leading loss of the land and resources. The Tasada incident in 1971 highlighted the ongoing misunderstanding and encroachment on their territory. The livelihood of the Tiboli people. Traditionally, the Tiboli were hunter-gatherers and Sweden farmers, utilizing the forest and waterways for resources. Horse ownership signified wealth and status. Slash-and-burn agriculture, or kaingin or tiniba, was the primary farming method, producing rice, corn, and other crops. Textile weaving, or tinalak, and metalwork were important crops initially used for personal needs and barter, later becoming commercialized, though often controlled by the outsiders. The increasing influence of a money economy and contract farming schemes has significantly altered their traditional livelihoods. Tiboli traditional village system. The Tiboli did not have a village system in a traditional sense. Households operated independently except for communal events. Datus, or the chieftains, were consulted for customs and dispute resolution. Their influence based on wealth, wisdom, and perceived righteousness. The position was not hereditary. The highest honor for a woman was the title of boy, recognizing wealth and social skills. Traditional justice or kokom existed with officials or the Odin enforcing rules, though this is now largely replaced by the local government. Customary law was primarily oral with penalties involving fines or tamok or service. Tiboli culture and costumes and traditions. Rice is central to Tiboli culture, both as staple food and a key element in the isbasa or reciprocal exchange system. The rice growing cycle is deeply intertwined with their calendar and rituals. Isbasa governs communal labor in rice production with reciprocal fest celebrating key stage. Family is highly valued with elders teaching traditions and skills to younger generations. Socioeconomic status is clearly defined with distinct male and female rules. Pregnancy and childbirth are surrounded by numerous beliefs and practices, including taboos and augury techniques. Abortion and infanticide were practiced in certain circumstances. Naming practices reflect physical characteristics and ancestral lineage. Child barter or habalu occurred in cases of poverty or death. Respect for elders is paramount. Succession is patrilineal, with the eldest son inheriting. In the absence of sons, the eldest brother inherits. Marriage is traditionally arranged, with a lengthy process involving betrothal fest or mubulong bahong mulo, bride price or songgod, and the monimum, a series of celebratory fests. Polygyny was permitted. Divorce was possible with consequences depending on the cause. Death is viewed as a disruption of the spirit's return to the body, with elaborate burial rituals involving the tao, mulungon or coffin maker, and various beliefs about the afterlife. Religious beliefs and practices of the Tiboli people. The Tiboli have a complex pantheon of deities, including the supreme deities Kadawla-Sambad, sun god, and Bulan Lamogao or moon goddess, their children and other spirits. The Mohen or Omen bird plays a significant role in their belief system. It calls interpreted as omens of fortune and misfortune. Busao or malevolent spirit are believed to cause illness and misfortune, requiring propitiatory offerings or diso. Belief in spirits inhabiting all objects leads offerings to gain their favor. The afterlife includes various destinations depending on the cause of death. Limlunay is considered a paradise or ancestors. Traditional beliefs have been significantly influenced by the arrival of Christian missionaries and intermarriage with Christian settlers, leading to conversations but also syncretism. Tiboli traditional house and community. The Tiboli household is a basic social and economic unit. Villages are uncommon. Houses or guno are built on hilltops for security. Traditional houses or guno bong are large elevated structures with distinct areas for various activities. The luo or seal or central space is the heart of the home. Houses are not permanent due to farming practices, marriage costumes, and death rituals. Other structures such as the kuno moninum or communal house, lowig tinak, farm shed, hafo or watchtower, and fall or granary serve specific purposes. Modernization has led to modification of traditional houses, incorporating modern materials and furnishings. Tiboli traditional attire. Personal adornment is highly valued with elaborate costumes, body ornaments such as earrings, necklaces, bracelets, belts, and anklets, rings, combs, hairstyles, and cosmetic practices. Traditional attire is worn on special occasions, while modern clothing is common for everyday use. Tattooing and scarification are forms of body decoration reflecting social status and bravery. Metalwork is integral to the ornaments, often involving intricate designs and other use of brass, copper, and other metals. Tiboli Arts and Crafts. Metalcraft or timwell is a significant art form with techniques including forging and the lost wax method used to create various objects. Tinalak weaving is another permanent art using abaca fibers and tie-dye technique to create intricate designs. The designs are often inspired by dreams. Vegetable dyes produce color-fast ridges, brown, black, and white colors. The weaving process involves a backstrap loom. Commercialization of tinalak has created both opportunities and challenges with the concerns about the loss of traditional techniques and designs. Lang Dulay, a Gamaba awardee, is a key figure in preserving traditional tinalak weaving. Tiboli Literary Arts. Tiboli folk literature includes proverbs, riddles, and stories reflecting their beliefs and costumes. The epic Todd Below is the central to Tiboli identity, narrating the hero's adventures and conveying cultural values. There are multiple versions of epic. Children's books in the Tiboli language are promoting the preservation of their language and cultures. The Tiboli musical instruments and folk songs. The Tiboli have a variety of musical instruments including drums, gongs, flutes, zithers, and guitars, often mimicking natural songs. Music or autumn and songs or lingon are used for various occasions with both fixed and improvised forms. The Holok Tudbulot song is a significant ritual performance song throughout the night. Books and recordings are documenting and preserving Tiboli songs, rhymes, and children's games. Tiboli folk dance. Tiboli dances or kadal or madal reflect courtship, marriage, and other aspects of their life. Dances can be narrative, mimicking animals or events, or ritualistic such as exorcism dance. The Hilubong Cultural Dance Troupe plays a significant role in promoting Tiboli and dance internationally. Tiboli in media arts. Radio programs and films are increasingly showcasing Tiboli culture and life, providing platforms for their voices and stories. However, some films are faced criticism for their portrayal of Tiboli culture. So, the Tiboli tribe preserves its culture and traditions through various means, including oral traditions, cultural festivals, and preservation of their unique arts and crafts. They also focus on language revitalization, traditional art workshops, and environmental protection to ensure sustainability. To conclude, preserving tribal cultures involves actively maintaining traditions, languages, and knowledge systems, while also promoting respect for this culture through education, awareness, and advocacy. Respecting tribes means acknowledging their unique identities, supporting their self-determination, and advocating for the rights to their ancestral lands and cultural heritage.